Hi, my name is Tom Mason. I'm a professional wildlife and nature photographer, and I've teamed up with Wildfoot Travel to give you a little look inside my camera bag and some hints and tips for packing your own gear for when you go on your next wildlife adventure. Now, one of the first things to think about before you get any of this gear or anything like that is if you're going to buy something new or you've even got your camera already, to make sure you understand and know how to use it before you go on your trip. Because there's absolutely nothing worse than incredible wildlife showing right in front of you and you not knowing how to work your camera to capture those awesome moments in a still frame. So be sure to look through the features, read your manual and just get used to using your camera well in advance before you go and fly out for your massive adventure. Now for me personally, I carry quite a lot of equipment when I go anywhere in the world, and this is because I need a range of lenses and cameras for capturing different things. But one of the most important things, of course, is the bag itself. Now for me, it's quite a large bag because I've got quite a bit of gear in here, but the key thing is this is airline, check-in. I can take it with me on the plane. It has to fit in that overhead bin so that I know that all the equipment that I want to bring is going to be with me for the entire time. None of this ever gets put in the hold or anything like that. It's always with me so my cameras are ready to do what I need. Now this is quite a big bag. Obviously you can get much smaller ones, but this fits my needs very well. It's very ruggedly built, strong and dependable, and of course it's got a really nice back panel that's very comfortable for when I'm walking quite a long distance. Now if I open it up inside, I'll get started to show you what's in here. Now, of course, when you go anywhere far away, when you don't have the chance to buy anything new, it's always important to have backups. I always carry a minimum of 2 cameras, so I've got my D500 and a D810 here. And this is a mix of a crop sensor and a full frame body, just to give me a bit of range and changes when I'm working. I always have a minimum of 2 cameras, often 3 when I'm going anywhere, just because if something breaks or fails, I always want a second body so I can continue taking pictures at the end of my trip. You might not need 2 DSLR cameras, but if you've got a DSLR, think about taking a small pocket camera, point and shoot, a good bridge camera as well, just because if something was to fail, it'd be absolutely gutting not to have another camera to finish off your trip. Now, in addition to cameras, my DX1 is more of a performance model. It has a lot faster frames per second, whereas my my full frame camera has a much big megapixel count. It's much better for landscapes and stuff like that, and that's why I have the 2 contrasting options. Now, in terms of lenses, I have everything from wide angles here. This is my 24-70. This is a stunning lens to let in a lot of light and also give me a huge range for doing anything from a kind of super wide angle landscape or animal in the environment to a close-up portrait. Also, it's quite good for people pictures as well. Moving up from that, of course, if you want to photograph wildlife, you're going to need a telephoto. And one of my favorite ones is this, the Nikon 70-200mm 2.8 again. This has a fantastic range. That zoom from 70 to 200 means I can go from quite a landscape style approach to a reasonable portrait, and this gives me excellent for working with subjects that are a lot closer. If you're going to be kind of with penguins, something like that, this is a fantastic lens to use. The wide aperture lets a huge amount of light in. I mean, you can get fast shutter speeds in low light, and of course the vibration reduction, that is quite a key thing if you're getting a lens that you're going to handhold, allows you to keep steady shots no matter what. Now this is the sort of lens that lots of people might go for or pick up before a big trip. Other options that are in a similar price bracket that offer great performance and telephoto reach is something like an 80-400 or a 100-400. That on a single body will give you a fantastic scope to do anything from putting your animal in the environment to getting those real frame-filling shots of your animals for those stunning pictures to take home. Now, in addition to my 70-200, I also have a super telephoto. This is my 300 2.8. I love this lens to bits. It is super sharp. The performance is incredible. The autofocus is very, very fast. And again, that 2.8 aperture allows me to let a huge amount of light into the camera. That means I can get not only great depth of field characteristics to my shot, but also work in low light conditions. You know, it is an expensive bit of kit. Teamed up with a 1.4 teleconverter or even a 2 times, it offers me a huge amount of reach. So even when I'm quite distant from my subjects, I can still get stunning close-ups. Of course, with a DX camera, that offers me even more reach again. You know, it is a lot, but for the performance it offers, it truly is a stunning piece of kit. Now, that's my kind of main 3 lenses that I will take on absolutely every assignment. If I was going to do flowers or stuff like that, I might also bring a macro lens. But if I'm getting super close or want to do more landscapes, I might also bring something along like this, a 20mm. This is a super wide angle, meaning I can get a huge amount in the frame or get really close into my subject and still get some of the background. And they're a lot cheaper than some of the other options you've seen here. Now, additionally, some of the little accessories you might want to pick up, of course, include lens cloth. You need to be able to clean your optics. A blower is something also worth getting. A head torch for when it's low light and you're trying to use the features or just walking to get to your spots. A head torch offers that hands-free, you know, lighting for you. One of the other things that I have with me all the time is this. Now this is a shower cap. You might be thinking, why would you bring a shower cap? But they are fantastic rain covers. You know, you pop it over your camera and it's out of the wet. You know, if it's raining, you can carry on shooting. And these can even go over, you know, quite a big lens as well to keep your camera nice and dry. So I've always got one of those in the bag, and you know, you can easily pop it in your pocket, so there really is no excuse to have one. Now, this, of course, you need memory cards. I usually roll with around about 10, between 8 and 32 gig cards. The 32 more for video, and the 16s and 8s for my stills work. And along with memory cards, you've also got to have a good number of spare batteries, because sometimes you won't be near a power plug or stuff like that. So making sure that you have at least a couple of spares. I usually actually have about 5 or 6. Allows me to keep shooting for a good number of days without having to recharge. Additionally, of course, bringing your chargers along is very important with an adapter for whatever country you're going to. Finally, my binoculars. These pretty much never leave my side. I've always got them with me, not only to help me locate my subject for my photography, but also just to see wildlife stunningly close up. There really is nothing better than getting your eyes on some beautiful subjects right in front of you. These always come in the bag. And one final thing you might think about on a big trip especially is taking along a laptop. Now for me, I usually roll with a laptop simply because it allows me to back up my footage and images at the end of every single day. I'll download it all to my standard laptop, and then I'll back it up to my hard drives. I always take 2, I put a copy on each. It just gives me a bit of redundancy in case one was to corrupt, I lost my laptop or something like that, or something horrible happened to my camera bag. These I split between my main camera bag and my hold luggage, just so that when I'm traveling, if something was to get lost, I never am without my pictures. You know, going across the world to see some incredible wildlife, there'd be nothing more heartbreaking and horrible than coming home and finding that your pictures had corrupted on OneDrive, or you just lost a bag. So I always have at least 2 copies, usually 3, just to be sure that all my precious memories and photos always make it home. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little video looking at some of the key equipment that I take on a photographic trip. And be sure to check out the Wildfoot website for some of the awesome itineraries and photographic trips they have on offer to some of the most stunning locations in the world.